All right, so over the next 6 weeks, what we're going to do is this overhead squat cycle. And in it, we have built-in mobility work because the goal is for everybody to eventually be able to be in a full overhead squat, all right, with nice externally rotated arms, nice deep squat, open hips, all right, flexible ankles. That's the goal. So we have two different mobility pieces that we're doing. One's an A day, one's a B day. Some of the movements overlap, some of them don't, all right? So I'm just going to go through all the movements so you guys know all of them, and you don't have to ask as many questions on game day, all right? So the first is our banded external rotation. And we've actually done this before, right? Back when we did shoulder care, we did this pretty often. So your thumb facing away from you, you're going to press up. You're going to rotate like you're putting a light bulb in, right? So you're rotating that thumb behind you. We're working on externally rotating the arm because that's the action we need when we're going overhead with a barbell, right? So that's your external rotation with the band. The next one is new, all right? We haven't done it before ever. So we're laying on the floor, same type of band. It's going to be pinned across your feet like so. We're right here, and we're going to pull with the upper body, trying to get into somewhat like that overhead snatch position. So trying to activate the upper back, pushing into the band while holding an active core position with your legs. All right. So that is your overhead banded reach. Overhead banded reach. The other two on 8A are pretty familiar. At least they should be. One is a classic deep squat with a plate, trying to press out against the thighs, trying to sit nice and deep. All right. If you can't get here, use a pole instead. That way you can lean against it, but we need to practice getting in a position where our thigh is connecting with our calf, all right? Because that is the deep squat that we are all trying to look for, okay? The last is a kneeling ankle stretch. So you can use the weight, you don't have to use the weight, but we're trying to push and stretch your Achilles, all right? Just going to have 30 seconds on each leg during those, all right? The other mobility things that you might not know, because I didn't know them until I started researching. They're both T-spine mobility. So the one is going to be with your foam roller. We'll be on our back. Should be right in your mid-back area. And really all it is just a glute bridge. But we're trying to keep the back pinned into the foam roller. If you can, we're going to reach back and try to grab the foam roller. But if not, that's okay too. But the whole thing is trying to flex around that T-spine, trying to get loose, trying to open up the chest as you do it. All right. The last one is a T-spine frog stretch. So you guys know the frog stretch. Most of you don't like the frog stretch. But the key here is trying to actually perform almost like a cat-cow position. So if we're here trying to open up the chest, and we're just going to sit back and stretch the hips, and then we're going to push forward and stretch the hips. All right, you might feel silly, but it's a really good stretch. So we're going to do it, and we're going to do it as a team. All right. So those are the other two stretches you might not know. The last is kind of like a lift that you might not know. We're going to pop those off with your PVC pipe. The goal here is to force yourself into a good overhead position. Now, I wish these racks were a little bit wider because it would probably be a little bit easier. But trying to do an overhead squat pinned against the wall. For some of you, it's going to be really good because you can kind of lean into it. Others of you, not so much. All right. So pushing in all the way up and down. Right. That's it. That's all I got. If you have questions, ask them to your coach on that day or whatever. Just ask me. But hopefully this makes it a little bit more simple on game day. See you in the gym.